besides being a nice guy. But no, people that believe it or not, I am very giving. I've always had that personality. I've always been giving. If someone needed help, I would always be willing to help. It makes me feel good as a person, and that's something that at first maybe people didn't know because they kind of know the exterior, but when you really get to know me, I'm a very giving individual, and I'm also a very good listener, believe it or not. Okay, so my real name is Antonio Rojas. My athletic background is, I started off actually at a young age, boxing a little bit, took that up. But eventually, once I came to the courts, handball became my #1 athletic sport. One wall handball in New York. What drew me in, to be honest, at one time when I was young, when we were young, I was more of a homebody. Like to sit by the couch playing video games when I was young. A friend of mine, very close friend of mine, kind of forced me to kind of play handball. So I came to the courts. I didn't like it at first, but to be honest, the minute I hit the ball, I had that tingly feeling. And once I started hitting the ball some more, I just fell in love with it right away. And right away, it just became my natural game to play. Right now, I would say I'm going to about 30 years now, about 30 years. I would describe the community as very diverse, but being diverse as they are, at the same time, there's a lot of personalities in this type of community. I think it's very unified. There are very strong numbers in this community, but it's very beneficial because they do a lot of events and things for the youth, and keeping kids off the street, and and everyone learns a lesson from that. But I think of this as a community as a whole. But there's so much diversity, and there's so much beautiful background for a lot of different people from every walk of life, and it's really good to see everyone unified to play one sport. That's a great question. I would like to see handball become an Olympic sport. I mean, that's actually been my dream, to see that, for years, ever since I started playing. It's always been an echo in my ear, and hearing it from other people and other players and sitting around, and we would always talk about it, but I would say that's my ultimate dream. So obviously I love playing handball, and at one point, where I was from, there weren't too much activity in the park. So the first thing I thought about was, how do I get people to show up in a park and we all play together? And I decided that I wanted to make that transition because this sport actually did give me a lot in return. It did help me throughout my life, through ups and downs. It's a great outlet. I recommend it for everybody. But the truth is, it's something that it's hard to describe. But I'm just very grateful, for what handball has given me. So in return, I decided, let me be an outlet and offer people an opportunity to play in tournaments, in low-level tournaments, amateur tournaments. And I started seeing it, and then it gave me that feeling that, I like the attention sometimes, all focused on you, and you like to see the competition, you like to meet different people, you network. And then I just decided, hosting seems a great thing to do. And like I said, I did want to give back to the sport. The sport gave me a lot in return, so I thought it was only right to give back to the sport as well.
We all appreciate that, by the way, Toca. And so what are some things that you still hope to accomplish in handball? Like, what are some goals that you're still set out to do?
Well, I'm actually officially hosting for the last year, just for personal reasons, for health and family. But I do want to still be part of the community. I still will be around. I still will help in any way possible. Whoever wants to get involved in this sport, I'm always willing to lend a hand in any possible way. Where I want to see the sport, but basically what I would want to see it is more of in a corporate setting. More involved in marketing and in corporate sponsorships, and Basically for like pickleball, where I feel handball should be at that type of level. That's where I want to see it. I want to see it become more corporate. I like the urban aspect of the sport, and that will always be the essence of handball, one wall. But as time goes by, we all need to evolve, and I think corporate sponsorship and leadership and unity is where I want to see handball go. My handball rival it's actually a good question. My handball rival at that time was actually Killer Chris. Killer Chris from Broadway was a big rival of mine. I competed in B pyramid tournaments, mainly singles in the beginning of my career. But I had the honor and the privilege to play Killer Chris, who was also an upcoming B at that time. And we used to meet a lot in tournaments, hosted by Tyrone and a few others. But I would say he was my arch rival when it came to singles at one point. I think it also has to do a lot with also mental health, which is important. I feel, like I said, handball is a big outlet. So I feel it does keep you, sort of give you that peace of mind. It's a great hobby. As I say, many people have many different hobbies, but handball is something that is a great hobby to the individual. In other words, like in terms of health wise, it's very, it gives you a lot of, it's cardio, a lot of legs, a lot of footwork, a lot of motion, a lot of quick reflexes, hand and eye coordination. All that is really important. But individually wise, I think it helps someone, through the sport, mature also as a person, as an adult. And it would always be a part of your life, whether once career, marriage, kids. It's something that I think that anyone that does play this game or any other sport should always keep close to heart and continue playing and giving yourself time to achieve all your goals. I actually did. I actually played in I actually attended John Bowne High School over here in Main Street, Flushing. I did play in a handball team for about 2 years. I did have some academic problems, so eventually I was dropped from the team. But stay in school, that matters. But yeah, I did play small ball. I did play for a handball team for a couple of years, and that's really where I transitioned from small ball to playing big blue, because small ball was a very terrific game, but I always pictured it as a very quiet game, and I got used to always hearing the ball smacking against the wall, and it just kind of gave me that adrenaline, and that's why I really fell in love with big blue handball. Absolutely, because at one point, handball is really a team sport. Even in high school, it's not. Yes, it is a 1v1 or doubles, but at the same time, you have teammates. You have a team of 12 or a team of 8. And so it is a team concept. But the IQ, I feel is actually more now, because we have so much knowledge and so much information that people evolve. But I just feel now, compared to then, is a big transition, big step. Well, that's a very great question. So as any player, or promoter or host or sponsor, you always, one thing I've learned that someone told me is you want to leave a legacy. And I feel that, to me, that's my ultimate goal, is to leave a legacy somehow or another. But ultimately what I wanted to do is I wanted to create an atmosphere, a facility where we can all come together, and I wanted to actually have an indoor facility of my own, consisting of various different walls, 1 wall, 3 wall, 4 wall, and invite basically the international community to come to New York and host our own Olympics here. I think that's important. I think it's important to bring the countries to come to the States. And I want to be that outlet. That's really what I want to do. If with the money, what I made, I would put it towards that, investing in that, and of course investing in the sport in general. I mean, we live in a time now where social platform is very important in order to get your word out, or marketing any product or services that you provide. We live in that 10-second blink now, where I could literally just look at, anything that I could see for 10 seconds, not watch the entire video, but for that 1 10 second, if I see that and I'm hooked, I want to see what that is offering. And that's why I feel a social platform is very important. It is very important to the sport because, all these social platforms actually evolved handball and made handball to what it is today. Before, at the time where you had to go from park to park to put flyers on the wall, to literally just having, a social platform or a user and basically just creating an event page and having thousands of people know about your event. And that's how I started. So I owe a lot to social media. It's as good as bad, but it can be utilized in a very terrific way.
You're a professional at this, Toca.
Thank you, sir.
Is there a role model or somebody that inspires you in the sport of handball to keep pushing you?
The truth, really, and this is the honest truth, the majority of the community themselves. I mean, there's so many people I love in this sport, that I met throughout the years that I just grew such a great friendship with. And, from young to old, it doesn't matter. Everybody should be treated the same. Everybody has different ideas, different agendas, and different personalities and different backgrounds. And that's what makes this community and this sport beautiful. But that's basically what I feel is the best thing to think about when you really sit back and look to where we achieved and to where we are today. I feel that we have evolved, as a community and as a sport, and we owe it to a lot of people, including yourself and the rest of the community as well. As I say, if you really want to reach out, I mean, the best way, as I said, a social platform is the best way. Obviously, we could be reached in other methods, but if you're really looking to be very accessible or to be reached, I think through most social platforms and, people that are actually dedicating their time, their effort, their equipment, and their finances to make this sport grow. And it is growing. Believe it or not, it is growing. It's growing on a slower pace, but let me tell you, it's still growing. This is not 20 years ago. This is not 30 years ago. This is not 40 years ago. And we appreciate all that, and we appreciate where the foundation came from. But now we have to branch out, and we've been doing that. And I speak on behalf of people that are younger and older. As long as we unify and we stay together and we go with the times, because we don't know what's going to happen in 20 years, how advanced, our information technology will be. But it's going to benefit us, and that's in the long run. I'm in it to win it.